Let's bring in on this broadcast analyst Suman C. Raman, political commentator and analyst, is joining us on this broadcast. We also have Mr. Shekhar Iyer, senior journalist, with us here. Thank you very much for your time. Vanakkam to both of you. Mr. Suman C. Raman, I'd like to begin with you. What do you make of Kamal Haasan now making this entry into parliament? Effectively, does this mean that his party, the Makkal Needhi Mayam, has been swallowed whole by the DMK?
Yeah, I think it's a massive disappointment for those who believed that he was going to be one of those who promised change. He came in, and if you his whole approach was that he was going to be the alternative to the two Dravidian parties, and it didn't take him, even a couple of years to sort of throw in the towel and sign up with the DMK. Look, we always knew his ideology was more along the Dravidian ideology lines, but still, the fact that he would not even raise his voice when required against acts of omission and commission by the DMK government, that was a real letdown. And I think people lost faith in him. People lost faith in his party the moment he began cozying up to the DMK in the manner he did. Then he went for an alliance for the 2024 election, and this is the payback. Basically, the alliance was he agreed to join the DMK alliance, and his party did not contest any seats in that election.
Yeah.
The quid pro quo was that he would be given a Rajya Sabha seat, and that has been honored now. So, for all practical purposes, I would see this as the end of his political career. Though, I mean, it's like
Yeah.
having a nominated MP in the Rajya Sabha. I mean,
No, but
technically
is
he
this...
may not be a nominated MP, but that's what it is.
Yeah, Mr. Shekhar Iyer, let me bring you in also on this. But was this essentially the best case scenario for Kamal Haasan, that he enters into parliament, looking at how really he fared in the 2021 elections?
Akshita, I think for him, this is the best deal he could have got. But just as Dr. Sumant Raman mentioned, it's a huge disappointment and for his cadre, for his workers. Because in the 2021 election, he had put up candidates in all the 234 constituencies.
Yeah.
Of course, all of them lost deposit. That's another thing. But for a nascent party which started on a principled approach, fighting corruption, and finally ending up being a DMK ally, that has completely cost his credibility as a politician, and not only among the people in general, but particularly among his own people, his own young people who got attracted to him. So therefore, I think this is the best, as has been mentioned. It was a deal. Definitely, it was a deal, and he was worried in the midway that whether DMK would honor that commitment, that they would send him to the upper house, and that's why you saw him meeting the Tamil Nadu Deputy Chief Minister Udaynithi Stalin number of times, and finally, when the vacancies arose, he got the nomination. He had one more request, that he should be an independent backed by DMK. I think that is a request they agreed to. So he's an independent candidate who was backed by the DMK and got elected to the Rajya Sabha.
But what difference does it really make? Because I think the messaging is very clear here that Kamal Haasan is clearly tied to the DMK, and going into the 2026 elections, Suman C. Raman, there's going to be no Makkal Needhi Mayam presence. There's going to be no Kamal Haasan presence, albeit perhaps a few campaigns where he is essentially the star campaigner.
Absolutely. I mean, technically, the party still exists. I mean, on paper, the party exists, but most of the cadre and most of the senior leaders have all left quite some time back, quite disillusioned with him. Look, the irony is, Akshita, Kamal Haasan is such a tall actor. He's one of the finest actors in the history of Indian cinema. Had he said, I would like to go to the Rajya Sabha, all the parties in Tamil Nadu would have been happy to support him.
Agreed, yeah.
I mean, that is the tragedy. Instead, he has tarnished his reputation, ruined his name by throwing in his lot with the DMK in the manner he did. He could have done this without, throwing a torch at and breaking the TV ad which he put out, saying that this is my anger against corruption. And then you sign up with the DMK in less than 2 years.
No, but where do you think it went wrong, Suman C. Raman? Do you think it was just miscalculated by Kamal Haasan? Did he think politics would be much easier? Was he not willing to wait it out, put in the hard work for many more years to ensure that he tastes success? What was it?
No, he was largely a part-time politician. He was never a full-time politician, despite the fact that he had a political party to run. He would make more or less guest appearances. He was never there, throughout with his cadre on the campaign trail. It was always a kind of sporadic appearances And the fact that once it got through to the cadre that he was continuing to act in movies, so it was more a kind of a side distraction for him. And when he figured out that politics is not that simple, that you can potentially get yourself elected as a chief minister by running running a party part time. I think that is when reality started to hit. Then he thought, okay, what is the best exit option? The best exit option is to get a Rajya Sabha seat, sit in the upper house for a few years. You will have the visibility, you will have the profile, all of that. And he's now in his 70s. So what else can he ask for? And the
No, that's
party,
true.
I
You
mean,
know,
those
he's
who, yeah.
in several interviews said, I wish I had done this earlier, that he should have entered politics earlier. But Shekhar Iyer, do you think that if, Kamal Hassan hadn't taken this step and rather, roughed it out for a couple of years, tried this by going through it for the long run, do you think he could have tasted success in, let's say, not even 2026, but the next election after that, 2031 maybe?
Well, I don't know whether he had that kind of staying power, but definitely when he started out, people thought that probably they are going to see an alternative, to DMK, ADMK politics. They are going to see a new politics. But that unfortunately did not happen. And somewhere along, Kamal Hassan, who, as Dr. Raman was saying, is a great actor, but the problem was he had difficulty in communicating his political ideas and political ideology, because he appeared to be again a party which is, I mean, his ideas were more or less in tune with whatever has been there, the social justice, the Periyar
Yeah.
philosophy, and all that. And the only difference that he could bring was fighting corruption. But then finally he went and aligned with those very people who have been accused of corruption, right from Karunanidhi's days. So therefore, as an alternative, he lost credibility. And second thing, I do not know whether in the coming assembly elections, he can, I mean, if he's serious about keeping his Makkal Nidhi Mayam going, whether he would ask for some seats to be given to his party as an alliance partner, I do not know that, and whether DMK would concede that demand. But in that case, perhaps, that show could go on for some more time if he is able to secure a few seats to contest for his party members.
No, but
Whoever are
at
left with him.
this point, looks really unlikely that he has any a skin in the game, or for that matter, any way to really bargain at this point with the DMK. The DMK seems to be calling the shots, Kamal Hassan merely agreeing to it. Having said that, right now, with what's happened with Kamal Hassan and the trajectory with him, there was a lot of hope that he is an alternative for the people to vote for. It didn't really go down that way, especially in the 2021 elections. There are going to be a lot of comparisons, Mr. Iyer, to what's happening right now. The fact that you have another superstar entering politics, Vijay, also who projects himself as an alternative. What lessons perhaps can a Vijay learn from what went wrong maybe with Kamal's dreams of becoming chief minister?
Well, I think one big lesson that Vijay can take is to see that he is consistent and remains in the field, no matter what is the outcome of 2026 elections. Because that one assembly election should not put off Vijay. But then Vijay, compared to Kamala Hassan, is a great mass contact leader. See, he doesn't speak in riddles. He doesn't speak in that kind of Tamil. He speaks in a very simple way. And he can connect with the common people. So if he can keep on doing that and not appear to be a B team of the DMK, or not appear to be somebody who is attempt to divide the opposition votes so as to help DMK have an easy win in 2026, if he can do that, then perhaps things can open up for him.
Age is on his side, unlike Kamal Hassan. Suman C. Raman, what do you think? What's happened with Kamal Hassan is another indication that not all superstars are successful in politics. They can't take their, fandom for granted. It doesn't necessarily translate to success in politics. And so for the likes of Vijay going into the next election, where he's projected himself perhaps in a similar mold as Kamal did in 2021, what do you think is the biggest lesson he can take from what's happened with Kamal Hassan?
Look, before that, I think Kamal and Vijay are very, very different, perceived very differently by the audience. Kamal was always an actor for the classes, not so much for the masses. For the masses, we had
Agreed, yeah.
Rajinikanth, and Kamal was more for the classes. Vijay, to a large extent, is with the masses. He's more a mass hero. So therefore, that particular difference will hold him in good stead. Having said that, I think what Vijay can learn from Kamal Hassan is you cannot do this part time. you cannot, continue your acting and then make periodic political speeches and visits. So right now, Vijay has informed, the people that are from the next month onwards, or August or September onwards, he will, once he's finished the shooting for his next film Jananayagan, and therefore he will be on the campaign trail. So that's what we've been told. But so far, Vijay's appearances have also been sporadic. It's been a lot like how Kamal Hassan started off, with periodic, with a Manadu, and then speaking at periodic on issues.
But maybe the one difference is that Vijay said that no more films. He said that this is the end of his career, that, he's going to focus completely on politics. Maybe he's learnt that lesson already. But let's see really what Vijay's trajectory looks like. For Kamal Hassan, it definitely seems like it's the end of the road of electoral politics, at least personally for him. It remains to be seen what really happens of the Makkal Nidhi Mayam. But Dr. Sumant C. Raman and Shekhar Iyer, thank you very much for your time and for joining us here on India Today.